Alright, people. So, not sure if I'm gonna get to do another video before November 19. So, just in case, like to say happy International Men's Day to all the men. Yep, enjoy yourself and look about yourself. Think about things like your health, suicide rate, all of these things, because these things are very important things that we all need to take into consideration. If we are approaching 40, you need to go get that checked out. Yep, take care of your health, take care of your mental health, and do what you need to do to take care of you. Remember that you are also important. It's not just about oh, you're the man of the family, and you are also important. So let's remember that. But today, I want to talk about a very important subject. So recently, Heroy Clarke, right, the MP for some St. James constituency, was mayor, now MP. Alright, cool. So Heroy is suggesting that we have mandatory DNA tests at birth. Now he's arguing that the jacket, as it is commonly referred to, um, is one major reason why there is so much domestic violence. Now, I'm not going to say that it is the main cause for domestic violence because, alright, so talk about causes of domestic violence. Domestic violence are violence in the home where, first thing we need to understand, I not just man a beat woman, woman beat man too. That are the first thing we need to agree and know to ourselves. It's not just about man beating woman, woman beat man too. And woman beat man far more often than we think. And the reason why we don't think it happened as much is because we're not getting the complaints. And the reason why we're not getting the complaints is because when men complain, they ask if they are soft or how they allow that to happen, and how horse died, and how all that. There's all different kind of excuses. Most of the time, men who may complain about women being violent to them, physically that is, it's ignored, or they are told to man up. Another thing is that majority of homes have men who are being abused. How? Majority of homes have men who are being abused. Where does he come up with these things? Yeah, is he making it up? No, I'm not. The thing is, the abuse is usually not physical. The abuse is psychological. Firstly, the point of telling somebody to man up, or grow balls, or saying that he can't hold a job, or whatever you ask him to do and he's unable to do that one thing, and you say, well, you're not a man because that is abuse. Or if you don't buy me this, you're not gonna get any sex. I'm not saying that you have to have sex with him, but saying that if you don't do X or if you don't do Y, then I'm not going to have sex with you. That's a form of abuse, right? And the problem is we have more and more laws that are taking away the power from men. And trust me, women having power is not good. And I know a lot of people, I know I just got a lot of dislikes, but it's true. The thing is, when men get power, because men know that they are powerful, know that they are strong, they know that they have to be responsible with the power, right? When women get power, they feel like they are weak, so they need to strengthen themselves by weakening everyone else, right? So what happens? Okay, I'll tell you what happened. in most of the cases, women end up abusing men because they can, right? A woman can beat a man. All right, let's even look at a song that I was looking at recently. It's not a recent song, right? Somebody the song says sometime my boy forget cuff. So man, I always imagine say, what if somebody were to remix that but change the gender? Would it be just as funny? Would it get airplay? Sometimes a girl forget cuff. Sometimes a girl forget cuff. You see, we hear it, and we hear when the woman says, "Sometimes a boy forget cuff," and we find it funny. Oh, it's such a nice song. Oh my god, I love it. Yes. Play that song again. Sometimes a boy forget cuff. It's true, you know. Right? One time the shoes on the other foot. How dare you? How dare you? Hmm? How dare you? You have no right. That's the kind of thing. So that's happening. So I just like what Andrew say. Andrew say no to corporal punishment, but yet still he has his police officers go out and beat people. So it's okay for the police to go out and beat people, but it's not okay for you to beat your children. The police is going to beat you in a way that they are definitely going to break you up. They're going to damage you. They're going to put you in the hospital. And most parents who beat children are not going to beat them to the point where they need to go to the hospital. So basically, how do you maintain law and order in your house? So you can maintain law and the government wants to maintain law and order in society. States of emergency, police beating people, police shooting at people, that sort of thing. Long detention where they have people there to physically prevent you from leaving, right? But doing that in your house, you know, short detention, beating, or any kind of punishment is seen as, oh, that's child abuse. So what about adult abuse? Isn't it adult abuse? But back to what Heroy is saying. Yeah. So let me just finish up on domestic violence. So domestic violence affects everybody. It is not a woman thing, and more men are suffering from domestic violence if you include psychological violence, which do not leave physical scars. And a lot of men just believe that I am a man, have to man up, and I can't complain about that because I'm a man, right? Right. So that's domestic violence. So does it contribute? Yes, because especially if a man is boasting that this is my son and whatever, and a man is going to feel away. A man is going to feel away, and I think that this proposal is probably one of the better proposals because we are even thinking about the woman, right? And the problem is until something affects women, women don't care about it. Men, right? Us men, we are so damn stupid. What we do is we care about everyone's issue, and we even put ourselves down, right, to ensure that these people are comfortable, but they don't care about our issues, right? So that's what happened. Now, suppose he had suggest that if whenever a man finds out that a child is a jacket, then the woman has to pay him back based on the amount that he spent. You have to pay him for everything, right? Or the child has to pay him, or some monetary contribution has to be made back to the man. Then you will hear that whole so wicked, and you see, but no, we are trying to protect you by saying you will not be liable. You can't be liable because he hasn't spent much money yet. The only money that he would have spent is to take care of you during pregnancy, and whether or not he should be, he should pay, you should pay you back. Because that is the other thing. People are gonna say, well, he was having sex, they were having sex, and so he shouldn't. But I'm not paying you for sex. You're not selling me sex. And that's not what that was not the arrangement under which I gave you this money. Calling me, right, to tell me that, listen, I know you're going to beat off your finger with a hammer, or you're gonna risk dropping off a scaffolding, or something, some hard work that would put your life in danger. But when you're finished, I need that money to go and buy something, to buy a Clark's for my son. um that's that doesn't sit well with me, knowing that that's not my child. So while it's my child, when I'm thinking it's my child, and yes, he's worth it, he's worth it, I'm gonna do it. I mean, I might die, but I'm going to do it, right? But when we think about doing that for years, and then to hear that it's really not your child, then it's something totally different, because you can't ask me to do that for a child that's not mine. Yes, I can take it on, but at least it would be my choice to take on and say, okay, I'm just gonna help you with this child, even though technically it's not my child, right? So that you saying don't take no DNA test, that's taking the choice out of my hand. No, you might be saying, but the child is yours. I'm not doing anything, and that's fine. If you're not doing anything, then there's nothing to worry about. And you might be saying, but if I'm not doing anything, and I say and I tell you that I'm not doing anything, that you should be able to just take my word for it. And the problem is not that you, which you in your mind say you are one of the good ones, you wouldn't give nobody no jacket. You are not the problem. The problem is your sister down the road, who is pretending to be you. Your sister, your fellow woman, some other woman, who is pretending that she's only having sex with this one person, and in fact, she's having sex with the entire town, right? And she really don't know who got her pregnant. But why should she settle for the gardener when she can have the banker? Because the banker has money, the banker can take care of the child, right? So why settle for the gardener, right? So should I then take her word? And you would say the obvious answer is no, don't take her word. She's sleeping alone. But the problem is, the banker never knows that. The banker doesn't know, oh, well, this girl is sleeping alone. He's there thinking at home, this is such a good girl, right? Now, one article I read suggested that 25% of kids wear jacket, and a lab in 2019 suggested that 70%, or 7 out of every 10 tests that they did, came back that the man named as the father was not the father, right? So that was something that was big back in 2019. Now, I think it was last year, if it was in 2019, October, November, somewhere there. So, sometime in there, either 2019 or 2020. And this guy was in the Star. He had 6 kids with his baby mother. And of the 6 kids, the oldest was about 22 at the time, and the youngest was about 5. Now I'm saying, right? Only one that was 15. So I think she had 2 kids. Then she had his kid. Then she had 3 more. Of all the 6 kids, 5 were not his. Right? No, that's not a good look. That's not a good look. And what did he do? He decided that, okay, I'm I'm just gonna have to take these 5 kids. And I'm gonna marry her too. That wasn't a very good decision, in my opinion. Should she have to pay him back? Yes, she should have to pay him back. In fact, I don't think he should have to take care of the one that's 15 for the next 3 years that she has. She shouldn't have to. I mean, I guess he's choosing to, right? Which, okay, it's his choice. Okay, cool, no problem with that. But it wasn't a good choice in my opinion, and his choice then affects us because the argument is gonna be, well, if he could take 5 jackets, why can't we? Why can't we take one, right? And there's gonna be a lot of psychological damage. So we know that it's gonna be a lot because the man is gonna be there. Say he has one child, for example, a son. Yes, his name is gonna pass, but his genes are not going to, because his genes is not in that child. So yeah, so this is just no. The other thing is knowing that the man who you have been calling dad is not your father, right? So let's say your name is Roberts, but your real father is Richard. Could your real father also be a jacket? What if he is a jacket? So now his real father's name might be Henry. See, you get that? So how many names are you going to have to avoid? How many persons are you going to have to avoid? Now, suppose you meet somebody whose name is, say, Hallen, but really is a jacket. Is also a jacket. And his real father's name is Henry. So now you are having sex with somebody of near kin, but you don't know because their jacket probably not knowing and your jacket probably not knowing. So knowing where you come from, it's very important. It's very important, and we know this because we see the amount of persons who come on and Susan looking for their real father, right? So, what is my opinion on this whole thing? I think that it's something that is important. It's something that is important that we need to be able to tell whose child is it. Now, the mother has no problem because she is the one giving birth. She doesn't have any problem, and so she think. But if she's going to sit down and think that the man should just take her word for it, no, nope. And that's not her fault. That's the fault of all. Is the collective. That's the because just like we have things. We as men, we have things that we have to be. For example, when if there's a domestic violence incident and the police is called, they're gonna think the man is the aggressor, even if he's not the aggressor. Even if he's the one that just got his ass handed to him, he's going to be considered the aggressor until, and he might even be charged even if he was never aggressive in the whole situation. So that's the thing. People when people because there's this trend of jackets, then you're just going to have to go ahead. So it brings up the point. It brings up a very important point as to who, when they make this thing mandatory, who should pay? Who should pay for this mandatory um DNA test, right? But before we even get to that, why does the government have an interest in it? Because obviously the government has an interest in it. Why though? Why? And part of the reason might be all the social cases at hospital, right? Because they have a lot of old people in the hospital, sick people, right? They are sick. They are well enough to be released into the custody of their um quote unquote loved ones, because not because you're related to somebody that doesn't make means you love them. Trust me. No, if they have a database and they can be sure that X is related to Y, or you know, then they could probably call you and say, hey, you need to come and get your father, you need to come and get your mother, you need to come and get your uncle, you need to come and get your aunt. My problem is though, what about adulthood. Suppose, for example, after John raised Jack, then we find out that Bill is the real father. What is the law going to say? Is the law going to say that Jack is supposed to take care of John, or is Jack supposed to take care of Bill? So, or is Jack going to now need to take care of both? Because if Bill didn't take care of Jack, then should the law then force Jack to take care of Bill? But what if, but John took care of Jack? So should the law then force Jack to take care of John? So it's very complicated because that is where I think they're going. They want to be able to know who is responsible for the old people. So they want to make it mandatory so everyone is with their family, is with their proper family. I don't know any country where it happens, right? And I don't know what if there's such a country, what it has done, how it has changed society. But let's see if this is a bill that um goes through. I think it's a bill that every well-thinking woman should support. Why? Because think about it. Let's say, for example, you have a group of men who were opposed to certain rape laws, saying that if a man rapes a woman, then he shouldn't be put to death, for example. I'm just using it as an example. You'd have to argue pretty strongly why putting someone to death would be wrong or should not be desirable. But to say that he doesn't want that law to have so much teeth would kind of look as if he has some intention to rape somebody, and so he doesn't want too strong of a law. So if he should get in the situation. And that's what it's going to look like to me. If a woman opposes mandatory DNA test at birth, it's going to look as if she's saying that maybe there is going to be a situation where I'm going to have to give somebody a jacket. And as such, I don't want too stringent of a law, or I don't want anything that is going to hinder me from accomplishing this task that I might have to set out to do. Not saying that she's planning to do it right at this moment, but she might be considering it, or maybe she has a family member who's probably considering it, or she has some interest as to why she don't want such a law, right? But if it's not going to affect her, right, it shouldn't affect any woman. It shouldn't affect any woman, because they should all be giving the kids to their right and proper fathers. Now, a woman's vagina is hers, as I'll always say. It's her vagina. And so if it's her vagina, then she can do whatever she wanted it. But in doing so, you cannot then accuse me of being the one who caused you to become pregnant, right? Knowing well that I'm not the person. You understand? I mean, because even a lot of the laws that are coming up right now, as I was talking earlier about laws giving women too much power. The new sexual harassment law, or whatever it's called, say if a man gives a woman a STI, then that's rape. How is that rape? How is that rape? So what if it's the woman who gives the man the STI? Because I read the law and it only say if the husband gives the wife the STI, then it's rape. So what does that mean? Is that permission for the husband to have multiple wives? Because how would he? It's as if she won't be having sex with anybody else, but he just might be having sex with other people. I don't get it. It's very accusatory, right? But this issue of the paternity test at birth brings up the question: who should pay for this test. And some of the answers that I've seen are whoever has the issue. No, no one has the issue. Remember, I think it's mine, and you say it's mine. You say it's mine, I think it's mine. So none of us has the issue. So it's not about having an issue. It's about trust but verify. So we're just verifying that what you say is true. And as we have seen, in 25 to 70% of cases, what the woman say is not true. Now, if it were say 1% or 2%, you know, we would be very comfortable. We'd be very Yes, someone a man would get a jacket every now and then, but the fact that we have a name for it, it just goes to show you that this is a big problem. This is a really big problem because we should not be having such high percentage. No, the other one, another person would suggest that it should be added to the hospital bill. Yeah, yes, I can agree to that. So I'll get back to that in just a sec. So somebody else say it should be shared. That's also a good argument, 50-50. Yeah, so I'll get back to that as well. Some person say the father should pay it because he's the one who wants to know. Some say the mother should pay it because she is the one who is who's claiming that that man is the father. Another set of people is saying the government should pay it because they are the one mandating it. Right? Now, I think this one was a joke, but there are a couple of persons who say the baby should pay it. Obviously, the baby can't pay it. So, one person I think said the Ministry of Information and Issues. I don't know what the hell they are talking about. Insurance. That's, yeah. If there's insurance, but remember, insurance. Alright, so insurance is, yes, is good and bad. So we can say insurance should pay it, but not everyone who is having a child is going to have insurance. So insurance can be the primary way to pay for it, but there has to be a secondary way to pay for it. Or you're going to have to buy insurance so you can pay for the paternity test. And then how much is that insurance going to be if you're buying it to pay for the paternity test? So it has to be a secondary method. So somebody also said the mother should pay since she cheated, but it has nothing to do with cheating. It has nothing to do with what you're doing with your vagina. What it has to do with is the fact that a lot of women are doing with their vagina what God he knows. No one knows what they're doing with their vagina. And it should not be the man's job to check on her to find out that her vagina is unused and in mint condition. That's not the man's job. It's her vagina. If she wants to use her vagina for whatever purpose, then she should be allowed to use her vagina for said purpose. However, you can't then you can't because of that, because you are able to do that, because the woman is able to say, okay, it's my vagina and as such I can use it however I please. Then we have to check to ensure that yes, when you say this child is ours, it's actually ours. And so as it relates to who should pay for it, this is how I look at it. I looked at it like this. I think the mother and the father should split the cost. Or the family meaning the unit is a family, should pay the cost. However, we can suggest that the mother and father split the bill, because really if they are together, then most likely the father is going to end up paying for the mother, right? Alright, so forget about the part there. So the important thing is this. What I think should happen is samples should be taken at birth. Samples will be taken at birth, and when these samples are taken, so multiple samples from the baby, multiple samples. Once these multiple samples are taken, right, they are labeled, and then at the end of the month, they are all sent to a genetics lab. So the government would send it on the behalf of the parents, and because of the bulk amount that they will be sending to the lab, then they should be able to get some kind of a discount. So the cost would come down to like 20,000 or maybe 10,000 or probably even less. So if you're using insurance, then insurance could cover that cost, right? So that's how I think it should. So if you're gonna do one sample, I think one test, I think it's going to cost more. But if you're doing it as a group, giving a group rate, then I think we can get the cost down. Also, I think there are also some quick test kits, quick kit that I think can say yes, you're the father, and if no, I think you need to go and get further confirmation. But eventually, this is a very important issue. It's a very important issue because we have, you can't wait, and then a lot of women, they know because they take the child to see their real father, right? And trust me, it's not a good look not knowing your father and not knowing where you come from, right? So I do hope the law pass, but you let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video and share the video, and I'll see you in the next one.